Okay, YouTubers, this is The Angry Prepper. So today's video, we're going to talk about prepared for what comes next. Now, what I mean by that is more psychological preparedness than anything else. I think, guys, what comes next, physically, we obviously need to be able to handle it, obviously. But psychologically, I think a lot of us are missing that. I think I've spoken on this a few times. I think we absolutely need to be psychologically prepared for whatever happens next. And that's starting from something small and tiny to like having a bad flood in your home, to losing your job, to more mandates and restrictions. I think we absolutely need to think about all of these things that could and might happen and prepare for it mentally. It's not saying it's going to happen, but at least you could figure it out. It's like going to a fire. When we go to fire, guys, a lot of us often war game in our head, what would we do if we ended up trapped, if the fire cut off our exits? What could we, how could we get out of that situation? If we were in that situation, how are we going to respond to it? Are we going to keep our heads? We're going to lose our cool. Are we going to go through a wall? We're going to go through a floor. Are we going to, are we going to bail out of a window? What are we going to do? These are the things you do when you're in a high risk, intense situation. Military guys do it all the time. Navy SEALs or Special Forces, they do it all the time. They war game a lot of this shit in a lot of situations. They do it on a personal level. They might not do it in a group, but they might do it on a personal level. Man, if I was in this situation, what the fuck would I do, right? If the fire cut me off, what are my options, right? And this is how we get through prepping. Now, psychologically, you should be entertaining everything that could possibly happen to you. Everything. With the exception of an asteroid hitting us, because then there's no figuring that out. You're done. But for everything else, guys, this is why we play the might, maybe, and it could happen game. Because when it happens, and if it happens, you are ready to react. You are ready to respond without going, oh shit, what do I do next? Because the minute you go, oh shit, what do I do next? You could be killed. Could be. Not saying you're going to die. Or you could miss a moment that's going to take you to the next level of getting you out of that situation, right? So we all need to be psychologically prepared. There are a ton of books out there that people should start reading, and I'm going to put a list of them up in the description section below. Then you have certain courses throughout the United States, guys, that you can take. You can take high stress shooting courses where they put you under pressure while you're shooting. You could take high stress survival courses where you're under stress, learning how to survive that situation. There are so many different courses out there that will get you psychologically prepared. Because unfortunately, guys, if you don't take one of those courses, the only way you're going to learn how you are in a high speed situation is if you are in that situation. If you were a Marine or Special Forces or an Army guy in a fucking a shootout. If you guys are in a shootout or some kind of battle, that's when you're going to know who you are and you're going to know how you're going to react. When you're in a fire, you're not going to know who the fuck you are until you end up in that fire and it's rolling over your goddamn head. You're not going to know what kind of cop you are until you get into an actual shootout with a fucking criminal. Right? So these are the things that, unfortunately, if you don't end up in those situations, you are never going to know who you are and how you're going to respond. A lot of us will sit here and go, I am Jimmy Tough Guy. I'm the toughest guy known to man. I know 8 different degrees of martial arts, and I have 8 belts of this and that, and shut the fuck up. None of that matters, because all of that can fall apart the minute you're faced with danger. All of the tough guy, I carry guns, I know martial art, John Wick taught me himself how to dodge bullets like in the Matrix. None of that matters. That is all fluff and bullshit. The real deal, guys, is when it happens and when you respond. And after you get out of that situation, then you could assess how you responded. Did you respond like a bitch? Did you piss your pants? Did you tackle it like you were supposed to? Like there are a lot of different things you'll assess when you get in that situation. And of course, like when you get into a fight, you'll assess the situation. Shit, man, I should have fucking did this. I should have uppercut that and right hook this, and I kicked him in the shins that way. You're gonna do that in any high speed stress trauma situation. You're gonna second guess everything you should have done. Right? The Trade Center, for example, me running away from fucking 2 falling buildings, I never second guessed anything I did because I survived. Right? A lot of us who survived, we didn't second guess. Well, we should have ran right instead of left. No, we ran the way we ran and we survived, and that was it. That situation, you won't second guess yourself. But other situations out here in the street, out here in the world, you might second guess yourself. You might get into a car accident and say, fuck, I should have cut left instead of right. These are the things you have to psychologically get yourself ready for. So, guys, Being psychologically ready means you have to be psychologically ready for having no job, having no work, which has happened to me now. Losing power for a long period of time, which happened to people in hurricanes and earthquakes. Those are stresses that build, and you have to learn how to deal with those little things before you deal with the bigger things. You have to deal with the stresses of your family during a shit hits the fan scenario, and you have to deal with their stress, which is going to stress you out. But you have to deal with their stress and be the bigger person and the more calm of the group to deal with their psychological breakdown that they might be having. Kids could get quiet and not say a fucking word until they crack. Your wife, she could fucking crack at the moment it happens, or she could do the same thing and just shut down. You have to be able to deal with all of those, and you have to be able to read the signs of everybody's emotions during that stressful situation, because that is going to get you through it. The earlier you read these signs, the earlier you identify it, the quicker you can tackle it and get them out of their own heads. And the best way to do that, guys, is to have everybody in that house help with an assignment. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Get water, get this, go on the roof and do that, scout this out, give everybody an assignment, and hopefully that'll get them out of their heads and get them on the road to survival. Survival is the name of the game, and that is how you psychologically overcome a lot of shit. The game is survival, the prize is living. And if you explain that to them, they will get out of their own heads and help, for the most part. Some people, there's nothing you can do, and they'll probably go right down the rabbit hole and they're fucked. And other people, guys, they will wake up, but you have to give them a little time. You can't rush them to get there fast, but you can't give them too much room that they fucking go the opposite direction and never come back. Like I said before, guys, the other psychological preparedness you need to get ready for is seeing some of the evil shit you're going to see, or hearing some of the evil shit you're going to hear. Are you going to be walking down the street or in your house or your building and you hear some shit going on outside? Are you going to run outside and help them? Could be a trap. Might not be a trap. Might be people actually beating up a chick and a kid. Might be somebody raping a chick and a kid outside. Are you ready to jump into action? Are you going to leave it alone? You got to be, and the thing is, if you leave it alone, can you deal with not doing anything? Some people can. Some people are straight cowards. Some people can't. They have to fucking help. Even if they think it's a trap, they're still going to help. So again, guys, and some of the evil shit, guys, you're going to see, after you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's fucked. And it's in your head. It's burned in your brain forever. So are you willing to deal with that as well? Can you psychologically be strong enough to deal with all of that and then seeing this? Can you be able to hear the shit you're probably going to hear and then deal with the shit that's going on currently? There's a lot of things, guys, being psychologically prepared, that it's not an easy task for you to get ready for whatever's happening all of a sudden. And I'm not saying, like the books I mentioned earlier, that you're going to read those and you're going to be, I'm prepared for it all. No. Unfortunately, you need to be in a stressful situation and know who you are. That's just the bottom line. There's no ways around it. There are too many prepper channels out there that are like, well, I am Jimmy Badass and I'm going to fucking handle it, take the bull by the horns and yada yada. Shut the fuck up. That is not going to happen. This isn't the fucking, a Disneyland or Disney World. This is the real world. And unfortunately, when you see some real shit, the consequences of seeing that real shit will play on your psyche in the long run. It might not affect you right then and there, but you might fucking snap 3 days later, or 3 years later, or 30 years later. Nonetheless, you have to be willing to deal with what you're going to see. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, in the shit hits the fan scenario, all bets are off and everything is on the table. Everything. There's not something you're not going to see. You're probably going to see it and hear it all. So, guys, hopefully this is just a crack in the door on psychological preparedness. I'm going to do another video on this. That's going to be a little more in-depth as to the classes you can take, the books you can read, and some of the tips on how to handle what you're going to handle, or handle what you might see and what you might hear, rather. Sorry. All right, guys, so other than that, this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like, subscribe to this channel. You can also like and subscribe to the Angry Truths channel and the Angry Lensman channel. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching.